Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to another video. My name's Gareth James for mttpokerschool.com, and in today's video I'm going to go through my favorite feature of the new PIOSolver. So I got the new version a couple of weeks ago now, and I've just been loving it, and one of my favorite things about it is Pio Trainer. So it's a GTO trainer, very similar to like Simple GTO Trainer or DTO, or those kind of apps or programs where you can drill hands and you can play through a number of hands. Now obviously you do need to have your own packs available, so you need to have run some scripts and run a certain number of flops so that this program can then pull those flops and then give you a random hand and give your opponent a random hand, and then you play through the hand and then you go on to the next one. So I really like this, but this isn't my most favorite feature because it's very similar to what you can do in those other programs. My favorite feature of this is that you can drill from a particular node or particular action or particular street. So what that means is if let's say you're pretty good at the flop, right? But on the turn, you're not so good. So what you can do is set it up so that you are just facing a turn bet, for example, like a turn double barrel. So you can say, okay, we face a big bet on the flop and we call. And then on the turn we check, and then we face another bet from our opponent, and then we have a decision to make. And what this does is it allows you to be really focused and specific with what you're actually studying. Now, for anyone who's seen my videos before and seen any of my training and coaching, you'll know that I love purposeful practice. And yes, I do have a book on this. It's called Purposeful Practice for Poker by me and TRICIA CARDNER. And this book is all about the modern approach to studying. So anything that's going to be focused and specific and allow you to drill particular situations within poker is going to be purposeful practice. So I absolutely love this feature. I'm going to show you how it works right now. So here you can see I've already loaded the trainer, and what we're going to do is we're going to click play this pack. And I've put in 4 that I've already sorted here, so you can see like cutoff versus big blind, EP versus big blind, button versus big blind, and low jack versus big blind for 30 bigs, and the top one was 20 bigs. So I already have these solutions. I ran it for 184 flops, so you can run it for any number of flops that you like, and you just need to make sure that you've got those flops in there for the program to pull through the data. So I'm going to click play this pack, and we get this option. So you actually can play up to 4 tables at a time. So it's almost like Zoom cache or something like that, where you can have 4 GTO trainers and you can work through them. And I think it's brilliant. You just be able to get a lot of reps in that way. We're just going to do 1 table for now. And what we're going to do is we're going to choose out of position. So we get to choose which position we're in. So for example, like if you're not very good at playing out of position, or you recognize that out of position is weaker than in position, which for basically everybody it is, like it's a lot easier to play in position. So let's say, okay, we just want to focus on out of position. We can choose that position there, and then every hand that we get dealt is going to be out of position in the big blind, because we're going to choose low jack versus big blind in this spot. We could alternate between those 2 positions if we wanted to as well, so we get in position one hand and out of position the next. And then this is my favorite feature. It says train specific situation. Here you can specify a starting action sequence. So we could go into this and we could say, right, I am not very good at playing on the turn when the flop goes check, check. So what you could do is literally just type in check, check, and then that's where we would start from. We would start from the turn node where out of position has the first action. Let's give that a go and see what happens. Okay, so I haven't done anything else apart from click play this pack, and we've landed on the turn, and you can see top left it says check, check. Top right is the spot, 30 big blinds, low jack versus big blind. We are in the big blind here as hero, and the action is on us. And you can see we've got a, let's have a look at this, like a 25%, like a 45, no, it must be 60%. And we've got an overbet, which will be the geometric sizing, and we've got a jam as well. So I think 9-7 off with a spade might get to do some checking here, but I think with this combo, we're just going to go for a check. And then we get the 7 of clubs on the river, and I think we get to do some blocking here. So I'm going to go for the block, and he just folds. And what you can do is get it to show you the last action feedback, see how you played the hand, and looks like I played it reasonably well. So you can see it's already jumped onto hand 2 now, and once again we didn't do anything on the flop, it just went check check, and now we have a decision to make on this turn. So 9 of diamonds then. I think with our hand, we're just going to do a lot of checking again here. I can't see that we ever lead this hand. He now goes for a big bet, and you can see the check. It said it was okay, so pretty good feedback here. And then we're just going to go for the fold, and you can see fold looks okay as well. So that's the check node, and as you can see, like, it's a really nice way to just drill these, you know, over and over again. I think that you'll reach a point when you're using these apps where you're going to be pretty good playing the flop. So what you want to do is go to the line or the node where you're not so good. So again, like maybe you're not so good after a check on the flop. So you go to that node. Maybe we want to take a look. We can do this now, actually. We'll take a look at, okay, what happens if we face a big bet on the flop and then a big bet on the turn, and then we want to play some rivers. Let's have a look at that and see what happens. Okay, so this time we've gone for a check. We've got the big bet on the flop. We've got a call. We've got another check. They go for another big bet on the turn, and we call, and then we have a decision to make on the river. Now, you'll notice that I haven't just gone straight for a check on the river, because there might be some runouts where we do some leading on the river. So we don't just want to drill for where we face a triple barrel. I mean, you could do that, absolutely. But I think that, you know, like I said earlier, most players they play worse out of position than they do in position. And I would say that most players play the river worse than they play the flop, for example. And so if you're out of position on the river, chances are you're going to be playing it pretty badly relative to like in position on the flop. Let's hit OK and get into some hands. Okay, so you can see the action at the top again. So we faced the big bet, we called, we check, they bet big on the turn, we called again. We land on this river, 3 of spades, and we've got a decision to make. Do we check? Do we go for the block? Or do we jam? So I think here I want to check, although I wouldn't be surprised. I've seen some funky things on river spots where we might just have to get to do some jamming here or something like that. So I'm going to go for the check, and they check back, and they win the pot. And you can see the check ended up being okay on the river. Now we're straight into the next spot. So we faced 2 big bets already with top pair, top kicker. And now we land on this very interesting King of Clubs river. So I think there might be some leading going on here, but not with our hand. So I'm just going to go with the check. And versus the bet, I think we just have to fold this hand. And we do. Fold looks okay. And we're going to move straight on to the next one. All right, so let's look at one more spot and we'll see. Let's have a look at out of position after flop check raise instead. Okay, so this time then we've gone for a check. In position is going to bet small. We're going to raise and they're going to call. And then that's where we're going to start the hand off. Okay, so it should be pretty straightforward here. We flopped the straight and we've got 3 options. We could check, we can bet the geometric sizing, so we can jam for 48% pot on the river all in, or we can just go for the jam straight away. I think that we're just going to go for this bet, and we'll have a look at the last action feedback as well. And then we land on the Queen of Clubs, and we've got to decide, do we go for the 48% pot jam or do we check? So I think that on this run out, I think there's a decent amount of hands that in position can have that will need to bluff. So I think checking is going to be slightly higher EV, but to be honest, like, I don't think there's going to be too much in it. Let's go for check and see. Okay, so it says check is okay. And then we just have a really, really easy call when they do go for the bet. And they end up betting worst hand for value. Let's go straight into the next hand. Interesting spot. So a paired board. We go for the check raise with jack-8 off with a spade. We improve to gut shot now. What do we want to do? Do we want to check? Do we want to go for this 48% pot, or do we want to jam? So I think this is a spot where we want to continue with the aggression. If we think about what our opponent's range looks like when they bet call the flop, you know, when we go for the check raise, it's going to include like some flush draws which aren't going to fold, but it's going to include some backdoor flush draws as well. And sure, we're going to block like King-8 of diamonds and Ace-8 of diamonds, but I think it's more important that we block Jack-X of spades type hands. So I think we just get to lead here. I think that he has to bet call the flop with a decent number of those offsuit Broadway hands as well, like King-Queen off, King-Jack off, Queen-10 off, Jack-10 off. Jack-10 off is probably a bad example because it has a gut shot now. But all the other ones will have 1 spade in them and probably supposed to bet call the flop. And then those are the kind of hands that we get to fold now when we bet the turn. So that's what I'm going to go for. Let's see. Looks like it's okay. And then we land on the 6 of diamonds river with a decision between checking and jamming. So yeah, really not a great run out. I think that we I don't know, like whether we're supposed to jam or check here. I don't love it. I'm going to go for check and just give up, but I absolutely would not be surprised to see us jamming here. I just feel like maybe we block the type of hands that really want to fold, right, by having the Jack of Spades and the Eight of Diamonds to some extent as well. So I just think this is probably a bad combo to continue the bluff with, but absolutely, like when I click check, if it says that I should have jammed, like I wouldn't be surprised at all. Okay, so check looks okay, and now versus the bet, we're just going to go ahead and fold. All right, so I'm going to wrap the video up there. I just wanted to go through my favorite feature of the new PIO, and I think it's just really important that you find a spot that you feel like you're not very good at, and you drill it, right? So you're doing that purposeful practice that I mentioned earlier on in this video. And the key thing is just making sure that you put the right details into PIO and PIO's GTO trainer here. So you make sure that you put the bet sizes in and make sure the action is completely right. I guess you will get an error message if it's not right, so you should be able to work it out, like it won't load properly or something like that. I guess there might be some situations where, let's say you've gone for a big bet call and then you want to play some turns, and there might be some flops where there isn't any big betting going on. So for example, like on a paired board, maybe in position's only using a small bet or a check. So it'd be interesting to see how PIO works with that. I did see some crashes early on, but it didn't like crash the whole thing. You just clicked on it and then just clicked deal new hand, and it went straight into it. But I think they're going to try and fix that, and I think that'd be really, really good. So if you do just go for like a big bet and call line, then I think it'd be great if they could like pull the flops that only ever used big bet. For example, like low connected boards, there wasn't going to be much small betting going on those kind of boards. So yeah, if they can do that, then absolutely fantastic. But yeah, I absolutely love this feature, and it just really fits in with the whole purposeful practice idea. So if you are struggling in a particular spot, let's say you are getting really good at the flop and maybe even the turn, and then on the river out of position, you're just you really don't feel like you're playing that well, you can actually go in and you can drill that specific spot over and over again, and you get instant feedback as well, which is something that doesn't really happen when you play, because you don't get that feedback. Whether you win or lose the hand, that's not really the feedback you're looking for when you're trying to study these spots. All right, so I'm going to wrap the video up there. Thanks so much for tuning in. If you have any comments or you want to see this trainer in use in different spots, then leave a comment down below. Very, very happy to go through some more stuff within PIO. I will make some more videos around PIOSolver's new features. I just thought this one was standout, and it's just one I absolutely love. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed it, guys. Leave some comments down below if you want, and until next time, take care, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.